Hey there, I am joined by Christian Golick, who is a video content producer and a good friend of mine, and who has agreed to come on and chat with us about all things distribution. So once you've got a great video, it's edited, you feel fabulous about it, what do you do with it? Where do you put it? So Christian, what do you say? Where should people be hosting their videos?
This was a simple question, but now it
Too
gets
many
more.
options.
Yeah, right. You have so many options and so many different platforms with social media because it's not just you post on one and you're good.
Right.
It's where where do you engage with most? So if you're posting for social reasons, picking a social platform, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, even Snapchat or Twitter, which of those platforms do you have the most connection with
Mhm.
and cater to that platform?
Now, do you suggest that people, and I always do this,
Hmm.
take the video that you've produced and upload it natively into, let's say, Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, as opposed to a link to YouTube?
Always native.
Okay, so you're going to upload it directly into that platform. Why?
When you upload natively we're going to use Facebook because I see
Okay,
this all the time. People post on Facebook and then people post YouTube links on Facebook.
right.
With Facebook, one, it plays automatically, so you have a higher chance of catching someone's eye as they're scrolling.
Got
So
it.
you can, you know, have a little bit more awareness there. Facebook is going to favor your video in the algorithm versus a YouTube link because Facebook
Mhm.
knows this link is going to take you off of Facebook. So we might show it. And like
Right.
if it gets some likes and shares, we'll show it a little bit more. But this native video, you know, that's front and center because that's going to keep people on Facebook.
Right. So I've noticed with LinkedIn, they have a hard stop at 10 minutes. You
Yes.
cannot post anything more than 10 minutes.
I learned
So
that the
I have
hard way.
started, me too. And because I don't want to edit too much, I have now made the interviews that I do, because I do, some small interviews and stuff for my blog
Hmm.
at paularizzo.com or sometimes listproducer.com. And now I make sure they're under 10 minutes so that I don't have to edit it too much, so that it's like 9 minutes and I can just upload it directly into LinkedIn and
Right.
not have to worry about it. I don't know if Facebook has a time. Do they have a time?
Facebook does not have a time that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
I've
that a
seen
time stop.
videos that were hours long on Facebook.
Yeah. What about linked Instagram? Because Instagram is a little bit of a different animal
Yes.
because of the orientation of it. So
Mhm.
if you watch some of the previous stuff that Christian and I have done together, we have been yelling and screaming about, making sure that your
Yes.
videos are shot horizontally and not,
Indeed.
vertically. But for Instagram, it's different because it is very much a vertical platform because it's pretty much mobile only, right? And so it's
Sure.
much easier to see these things, like this. So what about the videos that are going on Instagram and Instagram, is it Instagram TV?
Yeah, IGTV, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is very interesting because Instagram is has been making changes very recently. So let's go a year ago before IGTV was rolled out and it was just Instagram. You can post horizontal videos, but the video itself stays smaller,
Right.
whereas vertical videos you can have the most phone real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get your content across and be as seen as possible, you have to go vertical.
Yeah, you have to do it their way. I mean, I actually had done a video the other day that was promoting a webinar that I was doing, and I did it. I shot it horizontal, and then I'm like, I'm going to upload it everywhere. So I uploaded it everywhere, and I uploaded it to Instagram. And of course, like it doesn't really work for Instagram. You could still
Right.
see it, but I had lower thirds on it that got cut off. Like you
I
couldn't
saw
see
that.
the
I
sides.
saw that
I
got
know.
chopped off.
And my husband was like, your lower thirds aren't working on the, I was like, shut up. It's fine. At least I
What kind
did
of
it.
producer are you, Paula?
Totally. He's like, did you see what you posted? I was like, I know. I'm just trying to show that you should be putting things out in the world and not, not
Right.
perfectionism and all of that, whatever. But it doesn't exactly work, So you do need to be mindful if you're going to do Instagram. You may have to produce something a little bit different just for them.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. If you want to post cross-platform, you can shoot horizontal video, but just be mindful that like you might just don't
cut
make
off.
them important on the sides, like your lower thirds.
Right.
Like make them contained.
Know yourself. Right. Make them like this.
Right. And that's historically how in the video world we did it when we went.
Yes.
When TV went from 4:3 to 16:9.
Yep.
Like people had to still shoot with 4:3 in mind because so many people didn't have 16:9
Sure,
TV.
of course, TVs. So 4:3, so you don't, people who don't know, it's sort of like square, right? It's the square.
Pretty close.
And then for a couple of years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago at this point now, TVs started to be 16:9. So the longer, longer setup that we have now, the widescreen. Same thing with cameras. I remember when we first got the 16:9 cameras at Fox, everybody was like losing their mind, like, what is this? Yeah. And then we would be using old footage that was 4:3, which was like the square setup. And we'd have to put something on the black bars on the right side because that would drive everybody crazy to see those black bars on the side. So we would like mask it with the video. We'd blow up the video and have the video behind it and blur it out. Like it was a whole big editing process, you know what I mean? But now most things are done in 16:9. And so, you don't have to worry about that.
Right. So with Instagram, just being in mind, if you want to post, just keep the most important bits of your video centered.
Right. Okay.
So now with the birth of IGTV,
yes,
traditionally Instagram videos can only be a minute long. They still are, but now with the integration of IGTV, which supports longer videos, you can post a video longer than 1 minute. You can post a video that's 3 minutes long in Instagram. It'll play on the feed, but then once that minute hits, the video pauses and says, do you want to continue watching on IGTV? Which is, it's interesting.
That it stops you and you have to opt in to continue. Versus
I'm not overly a fan of it, yeah. So yes, you can have over a minute, but my honest recommendation, if you are going to distribute to Instagram, keep it under a minute. Just like LinkedIn, keep it under 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I think, for Instagram, if you're going to do a video that's 1 minute, maybe it is a promo, right? Like maybe it's very much like a tease. Hey, I did this great video over on my website. Here's a little tidbit about it. If you want to go watch the rest of it, go check out, my profile link. That's where the link to the video is or whatever, you know what I mean? So you're pushing people, right? Exactly. So you push people to something else. Or if you have a tip or something that you can do in under a minute, go ahead and do it. And you can do Instagram, both, you can do it live, right? So you can record it live in the moment. And then you can also upload video you've already done, right? So you could pre-record it and then upload it.
Right. With pre-recording, tried and true, keep it horizontal. But when you're doing Instagram live, you know what the intention is. That it's designed to be live, and live is vertical.
Yes.
So it's really not an issue of like, oh, which way do I hold it for live? Like,
that's what it is.
Vertical,
yeah.
But everything else horizontal.
Right. Now, what about hosting on YouTube or Vimeo? What is the benefit of doing that? I mean, I always tell people you should put everything on YouTube because it's the second most used search engine. People are constantly looking for things on YouTube. But as far as, embedding it on your website or putting it in emails or things like that, like what is the big difference between Vimeo and YouTube?
So the big difference with Vimeo and YouTube is shareability and privacy.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is YouTube, your content lives forever in YouTube, as opposed to Instagram, as opposed to Facebook, even LinkedIn to a degree. Like once people see your video, next week that video is gone in your feed.
Right.
Like, you can search for it, but it's a pain and you gotta scroll. Like, so your videos don't live forever on other platforms. They do on YouTube, because YouTube, second most searched website.
Yep.
Like people are always searching for things, and
Right.
you could have
How to edit on iMovie.
Exactly.
I may or may not have Googled that recently, just saying.
I'm sure you found an absolute ton of videos.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So your content lives forever, essentially. And more content you make, and the better content you make, and the more seen it gets, the more the rest of your content grows, because people kind of go down the rabbit hole of your channel. And if you are making videos on similar topics, like it's a very good way to grow. But with that, YouTube is designed to keep you there. And if YouTube isn't going to feed you another one of your videos, they're going to throw you some other person's videos, maybe your competition's videos. So that's where the privacy aspect kind of lacks. If you're doing any sort of client work and you're delivering videos to clients, you really don't want to be doing it through YouTube, because you don't get that security, you don't get that privacy.
Even if you can do like unlisted or
even still, because those related videos
protected.
pop up.
Right, it's distracting.
It's distracting, and you can't control what those videos are. It could be something completely inappropriate pop up.
Right. Right.
Someone,
you want to be able to control that.
Right.
Yeah. So I think Vimeo, you're right. Like Vimeo for that is much better, especially if you're going to do something where it's like, okay, here's an onboarding sequence, let's say, that is like, hey, you just joined my online group, and here's the 3 things I want you to do before we get together and we do this thing. Like here's, so that it's very contained. And that's not necessarily something that needs to be found, right? Like you're not using that video for, to build your expertise. This is much more like service delivery. So you might want to use Vimeo for that kind of thing. The same thing with audio. If you want to do audio only, you can use SoundCloud. I mean, I always suggest SoundCloud. I don't know if there's any others. I think that's the one that I would suggest most if you're doing, like audio. I've done audio challenges in the past, like 5-day audio challenges, because it's easier than video and you don't have to wear makeup and you can wear your PJs, and you know what I mean? Like, so there's good ways to use audio and things like that too, to get your business out there. But I think, the idea is once you've produced these videos, people have to see them. So get them out there, whether it be through social media or maybe you embed them in your emails. Right. So if you're embedding them in your email, you need a place to host it. So it's probably going to be YouTube, or you're going to link somebody over to, something as far as like, if you did a Facebook Live, tell people about it in your email list, and I always like to post videos in my blogs so that people get sort of both, right?
Right.
You can see the video and then you can also read the text if you want to. And that's, distribution that way. And then you're able to be found, like people in the media, but also, people who could be potential clients or, people who are looking to work with you or hire you for something. You want to be found. So those are the places, right? Pretty much that'll do it.
Spot on. Yeah. And just to touch on embedding,
yes,
specifically just a little bit, tried and true tips are, if you have a blog and you want to embed videos, go through YouTube.
Yes.
Google owns YouTube. Google is going to, when you're Googling, how to make a to-do list.
Right.
And your blog pops up because all of your videos are from YouTube. And Google likes YouTube, obviously.
Right.
So like you have a higher chance of discoverability, SEO,
Got it.
all that.
Mm-hmm.
if you are making a private course, like both you and I are,
Mm-hmm.
to host videos for only the people who pay, Vimeo is a much better option, because with Vimeo you can embed, but then you have customization with your embedding tools, meaning
Uh-huh.
you can take away the share button because you don't want people who paid for a product to share it
Right.
with people who didn't. You
Sure.
take away the share button. You can
The download button, like
take
there's
away
a download, you could download the video, right? There's a lot.
you
The
can,
other one as you're talking, so Vimeo, of course, I think is, one of the big ones, but also I've used Wistia in the past. Have you ever used that one?
I have
Wistia?
not used Wistia.
I liked Wistia, and Wistia was free. I don't know if it still is, but it was free up until X amount of videos. I think it was like 5 videos up till like an hour each or something like that. So it was free. And so I think I had done like one of my very first courses that I did, just like I was kind of testing things out. It was called Take Back Your Inbox. And it was about, how to get over email overwhelm. And so I hosted the whole thing on Wistia, and it was, pretty easy too. But that's more of a course that people bought versus people finding it, going on there and looking for the content. So that's, another place to host, but there's tons of them. Those are just some that we've, used in the past. And I think it'd be good to, so that's the distinction, of where to put these videos, why they need to be out there, and all that. I think we got it covered.
I think we do. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for your help, Christian.
Absolutely.